But I guess since last time we didn't go 5 hours,
Right.
it seemed like seemed so. Hey, don't never fear. Coach is on his way. Coach is on his way. So, but we wanted to go ahead and get here and try to be on time and get this thing started, man. Me and the SWAC historian, the Rattler, we can hold it down just for a while until Coach gets in here. Matter of fact, we may get a chance to talk about some things that Coach might not let us talk about when he's here. Hey, but before we get started, hey, you listen to HBCU Coaches Corner. I am your host, Rocky Miller, along with my co-host, Stephen Campbell, and our featured host, Johnnie Cole, will be here shortly. We've had a lot of action in this past offseason, man. And we had some very interesting activity, not only in the transfer portal, but also on the coaching front. One thing we haven't had any turmoil as it relates to administration during this cycle. So that's pretty good. But Steve.
Yes, sir.
What can you tell us about what's going on over at FAMU? They've been relatively quiet. You know, I don't know what it was. Maybe just last year was a anomaly. There was so much activity over there on the highest of Seven Hills. This year has been rather quiet, kind of low profile, so to speak. Can you talk about what's going on over there?
Listen, man. Listen, I'm going to say this again. If you want an AD not all in the videos, not trying to sell raffle tickets, get Angela Suggs as your AD. Man, listen, man, 19, let me tell you something. Listen, man, I've known 19 for a long time. And 19 came in, you know what I'm saying? She's quiet, but she carry a big stick. And, you know, she done came out, man. We got the basketball going with the season tickets, and now she's got Club Lawson with the Snake Pit VIP section that she's getting ready. She rolled it out against Bethune-Cookman and FAMU, and she's really going to blow that up. She's got some great things that she's going to do for the champions package. So, you know, investing in champions package for FAMU. So, man, you know, this is what it's supposed to be about, man. She got her head down. She's evaluating, you know, what needs to be done. And like I said, we're here to support it, man. Like I said, and again, I just think things are all about fit. You know what I mean? You know, like Sean Gibbs. I'm using him as an example. You know, FAMU, but North Carolina A&T was his fit. You know what I mean? The folks is happy. He's happy. Everybody happy. You know what I mean? You know, OBG is around here taking pictures in front of Christmas trees and saying ain't no new friends. She look happy. You know what I'm saying? Look relaxed. Got people thirst trapping on her pictures. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's where they need to be at. So I wish everybody well in 2025. You know what I mean? We got a new administration coming in talking about changing names of things and stuff like that. So, man, you know, we're going to need to have the HBCU Football Coaches Corner to give people a little solitude from the foolishness that's about to take over for 2025, man.
Well, you know, but okay. So Angela Suggs has started to put her imprint on what's going on in the FAMU athletic department. When I say quiet, I was really talking about the recruiting from a recruiting standpoint. In past couple of years, they've made a lot of noise in the portal, this, that, and the other. Are you happy what's went on so far?
Yeah, well, I think I repost. Matter of fact, we just signed 2 guys that I just saw. Looks like, and again, I'm going to do a repost. I got to do a deep dive on the guy, but I saw we signed a running back that's a 4.35 speedster. Need that Bishop Bonnet type guy. You know, it looks like we signed another wide receiver. We signed a quarterback. We signed 2 defensive linemen. We signed a couple of defensive backs. So, man, you know, I think what we're all hoping for is that, again, Coach Cozy, it's his program. Get the guys that he feels is going to be winners for him, that's going to fit his philosophy and things like that. He can't coach like Coach Simmons. He's not Coach Simmons. He got to coach the way he wants to coach and build his team. But the one thing that I think is, again, always going to be the advantage of a FAMU, it's a well-known brand, and it's in the state of Florida. It's players, man. It's players in the state of Florida. So again, we talked about 7,000 people in the portal, 5,000 people in the portal, whatever that number is. Again, you don't need to get 40 or 50 guys. You look at Jackson State, you get 5 different makers, you get national champion. You look with us when we got Musa and Bowler and Major and all these guys were transfers, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So you get those guys come in, Riley, Sharif, he was a transfer. So again, you get those guys in. You don't need to get 30, 40 guys. You need to just get key guys and then bring them in. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Coach got his background.
What's up, man? What's up? What's up? Huh?
Hey, Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. But Coach, we got your graphic on here, Coach.
I know. I was trying to get me right.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey, man, that's
the camera right.
Yeah. Okay, Coach.
I don't know what.
We see the hobo. We see your background. We just don't see you. We got a picture of the hobo. What's hobo stand for, Coach? That was your offense. Is
high octane big play offense, Coach.
Watch out.
So
all right, man. Let me get out of this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna try something new, man. What you gonna do?
Hey, man. Hey, Coach. We right here with you. We right here with you.
I'm ready. I apologize, Mr. Campbell. I know you're a man of standards.
No. Listen, Coach, man. First of all, listen, man. We know what you're doing, and we just appreciate you being a part, allowing us to be a part of this, man. A lot of people. I was out in L.A. and stuff like that, and people like, man, why y'all cut the show off? I said, man, this New Year's Eve. Coach got to go on and get a couple of drinks.
Oh yeah.
Hey, they wanted us to stay on that time.
Man, they want us to bring the New Year's in, man. And I think we did. Well, no, maybe not, but it was close to it.
Hey, man, we done went over 12 a few times, so we done that enough on here. We try to be timely as we go in there. Just so we can let the people who watch it know what we're gonna do. We got our featured guest tonight is Coach Morgan from Langston University. We're gonna have him on for a while. We're gonna talk about his program and ask him some questions because like Coach Cole says, this is about highlighting coaches and letting us know about what their program is doing. He's the head coach over at Langston. After that, we all graded these coaching hires over the past, I guess, 3 weeks. And I want y'all to look at our grade report. I want y'all to critique it very closely. So, hey, man, one thing I will say, I won't reveal it until we get into it after the Coach Morgan interview. But I can say some of y'all, man, y'all some really tough graders, man. Y'all were some tough graders, man. Y'all didn't cut no slack.
Well, Rocky, I want to say something. I'm going to just be transparent. I'm going to be transparent. I graded on the curve because I want some of these coaches to come on the show. So I chose to grade on the curve, and then once they do what they do, then we'll come back and then because at least we'll have them on the first time. But see, I can't go gangster like Coach Cole. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever want to take a class with Coach Campbell, when you about to graduate, come to Professor Campbell's class. We get you up out of there. We know about the mission. And
we can talk about doing it what you say, preserving relationships while being entertaining and honest, huh?
Hey, man, listen, because I'm trying to tell you, boy, I get more flack from people calling me, man, you talked about our coaches. Man, the coach is upset. I said, well, hold on, wait a minute now. Coach Cole talked about the coach.
Yeah, we hear you, Coach.
All right, man, I got to get off. I'm on this phone, but I got to get off this.
You want me to kick you off one of them, Coach?
Yeah, kick me off the first one.
All right, got you.
Okay, yeah. That's good.
But yeah, when Coach, I want Coach to hear this, so let me know when he's. Let's see. There you go. Hey, them people down there at Prairie View, we're gonna talk about that. Them people at Prairie View told Tremaine, Coach Jackson, hey, that first game, bro. They said that in the press. Rocky, we might need to pull that up because them old heads say, hey, listen, bro, that first game, they ain't say nothing else but that first game. And people got mad. I said, man, but y'all got to understand something, man. When it comes to those rivalry games, it's no different. People from Ohio State are still mad. Now, they about to potentially win national championship, and they mad they lost to Michigan. So don't be mad when these folks down in Prairie View say first game. You know what I'm saying? But I want to.
That's right.
Coach, Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Okay,
listen, Coach, this is what I want to propose this. I want to have, and I put it in my byline, we need to have an old head, new head, young head summit. As they say, no Diddy. We got to, I need Scotty, I need BJ, I need Perry, I need Josh, I need Zoe. We got to have a meeting of the minds. Because, you know, I walk these SWAC streets, right? And stuff like that. And they said, Mr. Campbell, boy, y'all old heads is rough on us, man. And y'all don't want to listen. Y'all don't want to hear none of our ideas. So I think we need, because, you know, I hear this in the streets, you know what I mean? That the young brothers say that we not listening to the old brothers not listening to the young brothers. So we got to have, I think we need to have an old head, young head summit, Coach.
So bring it all together. That right there is the problem. I don't walk through the fire. I'm on the other end of the fire, and I'm trying to tell these young cats, look, you know, you got to be, you see what I'm saying? That's the problem. They think shit just started with, you know, when they got into the HBCU realm. Thanks, you know, once again, thanks to Deion Sanders, who really brought all this out. But hey, man, that's the problem, Coach.
But Coach, that's the point. That's why we got to bring it together, Coach.
I got you.
We got to do drumline. We got to bring the old with the new. So we can come up with some solutions. We got to come up with some solutions here, Coach.
Hey, I'm all for that. And I think it could be really some we could really iron some things out and grow the space with that kind of summit. But with no further ado, Coach, we got somebody on that you know, Coach, that you wanted to bring in and highlight, and who you believe is a rising star in the business. Hey, Coach, all your guys that you bring on, they on early. They never late. Never late.
Well, you know, one thing about the guy that I'm bringing on, this is why I talk and speak what I talk. You know, this is a guy who's been through the mill. You know, he's done things the right way. He's currently a head coach and been a head coach for at least about 8-9 years. He's done a great job where he's at. And he's an HBCU guy. And, you know, this is a no-miss kind of guy. He deserves the opportunity. He's put in the work for the opportunity. And this is one of the reasons why I thought it was time to bring Coach Morgan on, to introduce him. You know, like I told you, Rocky Bishop, we give folks jobs, man. We give folks jobs, Coach.
He already got one, Coach.
And he clean. See, he clean, Coach. He clean. See, that's like God. That's HBCU. We know how
Coach Morgan, you're muted. You're muted, Coach. I probably can unmute you.
You got me.
Yeah, I got you now, Coach. You in there.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure. Coach, it is nothing but an honor to get the opportunity to sit down and talk with you. And you guys, you know, I'm excited about this opportunity. Thank you guys for having me on.
Man, this is the head coach. Preparation. Clean. Got his football label. This is a cat that knows how to be a head football coach, Coach. And take it to another level, man, because it means something. That's how they teach us, Campbell. Rocky at HBCU. We got to be one step ahead, baby. Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you representing well. Coach, man, you know, we've been talking for a while. I've seen your work. You know, you've been hitting and missing on some of these jobs. You sat in that saddle. You've won your conference before. And, you know, and we'll get into the other stuff of how you feel about what's going on, man. We just want to know about you, where you are, where you've been, and where you're trying to go.
Of course, I'm Quinton Morgan, head football coach here up at Langston University. To be totally honest with you, the majority of my career has been here at Langston University. my first head job here was the head softball job here, to be totally honest with you. I was doing football and softball. I was up under coaches such as Greg Johnson, Mickey Joseph, and DeJuan Sanders. As I was, worked up under those guys for many years. And then, at the same time, I was also the head softball coach here. And in 2015, I had the opportunity to take over at halfway point here at Langston University. And then from there, I took what was given to me and molded into to what it is right now, a different culture. And first and foremost, I have to say that it wasn't just me. I know it was all by the grace of God. I'm only one man, and just to have that many young men and coaches believe in me and in my mission and my vision, that helped brought the success that I have encountered in my career. And I'm not foolish to acknowledge that. I know that it comes from up above. I'm just one human, and I'm just like any other man. I take it day by day. And I think my biggest attribute as a head coach, though, is that I teach the kids about using the game and not letting the game use them. I give them reality. I feel like I'm a disservice as a head coach if I preach about, winning just football games, and I can care less what happens to a kid after he leaves my tutelage. I think we're in the business of building young men, and when you're in the business of building young men, it's more just than God-given that athletic ability that they've been blessed with. You got to tap into them as individuals, and I think that's important. I think that's why I've had my success. So I think this has really been my calling, to be totally honest with you. I learned how to become a head coach, believe it or not, from softball, because I dealt with so many different personalities from those young ladies, and the way you address a young lady, I couldn't come at that young lady the same way I would come at my defensive backs, to get the best up out of them. And in today's society, that's what we're dealing with these young men. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It's not a lot of young, positive male role models out there. And I'm not gonna put a specific color on that. Okay, but you guys know where I'm coming from, and it comes from a lot of fathers not being in the household. So these is one of the things that I take serious about my job as a head coach, specifically at an HBCU. I think that's why God put me here, to help continue to build and mold these young men that I get the opportunity to encounter. That is way beyond the sport. I got my wins in. I got championships. So I build young men now, and I think that's going to keep me on the successful side of the win-loss spectrum.
Yeah. Coach is from New Orleans, guys, and he can recruit them too down in New Orleans as well. And like he said, he was under Mickey Joseph. He's under DeJuan Sanders. He's under a great athletic director in Pat Simon, who we all kind of know and learned a lot from. Coach, where you guys now as far as recruiting and that kind of thing?
All my guys on the road. We get them out there. I get them out often throughout the week. My recruiting basis, to be totally honest with you, man, I could touch anything from the West Coast all the way to the South. California, Nevada, Arizona, Kansas. Anything Midwest, Arkansas, Texas, of course, which is right my next door neighbor. Louisiana, of course. My dad is one of the top trainers in the state of Louisiana. One of his more notable players that he's trained that everybody will be more familiar with is Joe McKnight, may he rest in peace. So I'm real tapped in back at home in many different places. So recruiting is not a problem. Coach, we're all over the place. I enjoy it. It's nothing like building relationships with different coaches.
Hey, Coach, I have a question for you.
Sure.
My name is Rocky, man. I'm a fan more than anything, and I also cover HBCU sports. But I want to ask you this, Coach. I went to junior college out of high school, and I know NAIA is I'm very familiar with NAIAs because we've had several kids that played from right here in Waco that went to NAIAs. As a fan and understanding the landscape, I knew that NAIAs back in the day gave kids an opportunity to get an education and continue to play football in a space where they may have not had opportunities to play at a Power 5 or lower division, whatever. It's really about guys who love football, right? But with the transfer portal and all of the movement, Coach, at the NAIA level, can you bring a guy from like a Power 5 or a lower division of NCAA and find guys who just love football? Because with all of the movement, it's almost seemed like it's a individualistic pursuit of getting what you can while you can get it. I don't know if there are guys out there that just love football. And are there a lot of guys out there like that?
I think it depends on the culture you have at the university, to be totally honest with you. I think that's where it starts at. You got to have an environment that continues to attract the kid and continues to retain the kid. I think that's first and foremost, and I don't really have that problem out of the portal. I don't. And I've had Power 5 guys transfer down here to me, to be totally honest with you, when they make mistakes and we get them back on the right path and they finish up with me. The portal has never affected me because I'm a coach that loves to build a foundation of, freshmen, incoming freshmen. And I'm a developer. So I don't just go and just grab what is out there in the portal to facilitate a team. Those are quick fix in my mindset, okay? You got to build a strong foundation. And everybody knows if there's a weak foundation on anything that you build, wind blows it over. So when you portal hop like that and you're using that portal, you're using it just for quick fixes. You're not using it to build a team off of, in my mindset. I haven't been successful like that because typically when you get kids like that, you get them for what, 1, maybe 2 years. Yeah. So it's about the culture that you bring in your program, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah. So you're saying essentially your program hadn't been affected by the transient nature of football nowadays?
Nah, me and Coach Cole were just talking about this. And I got one of the biggest cornerbacks right now getting ready to go off into the NFL draft. Travis Martin, he's going to be playing in Legacy Bowl. He's 6'2.5", 6'3", 225 corner. You don't think they were hunting him? Absolutely. But when there's genuine relationships and the kid trusts you and he know that you love him beyond that sport, everybody don't jump for glitter.
Yeah. Well, piggyback off, and in the eyes of a coach that's been around, just not my eyes, coach's eyes. Everybody thinks when a kid in the portal, if you ain't never coached before, or if he's coming from some Power 5 school, is he's always coming with some luggage.
Yes.
And the luggage ain't always got to be he got a bad attitude or he don't rape somebody or he don't stole somebody. Sometimes, Coach Campbell, he can't play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He needs some more development. And that's why, a lot of times when guys get so excited, oh, man, they recruited 40 guys from the portal. Well, probably, of course, all 40 of them maybe can't play. But go ahead, Coach. It's your show. Go ahead, just piggyback off that.
Coach, you're absolutely right. Coach, you're absolutely right. And they can also come in as cancers. You understand what I'm saying? The last thing you want to do is invite a cancer into your camp because it spreads throughout.
Yeah.
And so you got to be mindful what you get out of the portal. Long story short, it's always good to start a team from a foundation by going out and getting these seniors that's coming out of these high schools that are good players. So in actuality, what the portal has done for me is just made me even happier because now I get to go get some of these 3 stars that these Division I AA's are looking over and don't understand how to build a great foundation off these type of kids. It's simple.
Here's one example to the audience, and of course, everybody, Campbell, they getting on us because we go back to old head, right? Jerry Rice wasn't no star. You know what I mean? Walter Payton wasn't no star. You know what I'm saying? Them two changed the game. You know what I mean? But they have came and put the work in and has became the best the NFL has ever seen. And we got some more in this present day as well doing the same thing. So this, guys, and we'll get into this, we're a coach that look at things out of a different eyeglass than looking at somebody on TV and because he's famous. But go ahead. I don't want to get into it yet, Campbell. Your turn.
Well, Coach, first of all, I appreciate you being here. I'm going to kind of switch it up because, man, I know a lot of people down in that New Orleans area, man. And I said, I started doing research, and, man, everybody I talked to, I got a lot of family down there. They're like, that brother is a high character individual. So I wanted to talk to you about two things. I saw and we don't have to get deeply into it, but I saw that you had some adversity in your life with your family. And I saw the video. How, by that adversity, and also you being a softball coach, seeing the other side, dealing with the undergender, how did that allow you to give a well-rounded pro? Because, Coach, I'm going to give you a lot of credit. You got to say a lot of our historic coaches, they coached women's basketball. Eddie Robinson coached women's basketball down at Grambling. We had a lot of coaches that had to coach baseball. You know what I mean? Like you said, and to see the fact that you were able to coach softball and then be able to coach football says a lot about how you're able to interact with people, period. So just kind of tell people about who and what you are and why you're known as such a high character person.
I think it started from the guy I consider as my dad, man. His name is Ronnie Carter. Everybody in the New Orleans area call him Coach Pep. And, when you raise around someone that takes the time out each and every day of his life, to help the youth in the New Orleans area, the training sessions that he give throughout the city of Kenner and New Orleans Metroplex, you got guys that are charging $200 and $300 a week, but he does it for the love. So I was built off of that. This was all I know, just to be an olive branch. When you're a blessing, you be an olive branch, you extend that. And that's all I know, man, to be totally honest with you, and that's all I've ever been around, the sport of baseball, the sport of football. I played in the SWAC myself. I played up under legendary coach Roger Cador, at Southern University. Played with Ricky Weeks, left there, ended up at Jackson State, played there. Played on the football team at Jackson State with T.C. Taylor and those guys there. So I'm familiar with the SWAC very well. And, all of the toolage and the things that I learned throughout my HBCU experience prepared me for where I am right now today. And being that head softball coach, and I'm fast forwarding to that put me on a whole nother level because it taught me how to have one, open dialogue with individuals, and second, most important, not least, but most importantly, effective communication. Okay, when you're talking to those young ladies, you got to be able to have effective communication, and it's not about you yelling and cussing and all that type of. No, you can't do that because you put people in the shell in that aspect. So it was one of those situations where I had to learn how to cut it on and cut it off. And when it transitioned back to football, when I got the opportunity to take over football, I used the same tools that I learned from Coach Cador, Coach Sultan, all those great coaches that I got the opportunity to learn from, Mickey Joseph. And I took what I thought was good, and I made my own recipe with it, and I put it to use, and it's been successful. But a lot of that, as I said, it came from being able to learn how to be a head coach, from being a head softball coach. And I got to give thanks to Coach Patrick Simon. We call him Pops. He gave me that opportunity. He saw something in me. He believed in me. He knew of my baseball background. And I'm one of those types of individuals, man. You give me something, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to make the best out of it. I can make something bitter taste very sweet.
Well, Coach, I'm gonna turn it back up. But I've read about so many coaches, and that's what's fascinating. They said it gives you a different perspective when you're able to coach other sports. Like you said, you coach women's softball. It allowed you to to build your communication skills, which, as you know, Coach, you got a lot of guys on the team. Everybody can't be talked to the same way. And I think, to your point, I think that allowed you to be successful, because when you look at your track record, you different teams, like I say, the portal, every guy is a different guy, and just one size doesn't fit all. And I think what happens to a lot of college coaches, they think, hey, I could just be this guy. And Coach, you know, this is a new age. Hey, some guys you got to kick in the ass, some guys you got to hug, you know, and things like that. And that's not being soft on either way. You know what I mean? That's about being a great coach. So I just wanted to point that out, because that is the finest tradition of being an HBCU coach, being able to coach everything and anytime.
It's about being aware of the kid, which is most important. That's what we're here for. It's not just about our wins. That's what people, they mistake the job for. It's not about your wins. Those come when the kids are taken care of. That's how I've been successful. When the kids are taken care of, the wins come. Everybody's heard that. Hey, man, when you love your coach, you run through a brick wall. We've all heard that in sports, you know. And so when the kids are taken care of, it's proof in the pudding. You know, they'll go to war. They will go to war.
Well, Coach, I'm glad you came, you know, to introduce you to the HBCU world, man. I mean, you know, of course, we've been knowing each other for a long time, and you know, let's talk about football a little bit, Coach. What's you know, what's your philosophy? I know you're a defensive guy minded, but you know, and I want you to speak from a head coach. You know, you're going to take over a head coaching job. What are the things that you think or you should do first, and then just kind of move through?
First and foremost, my philosophy, Coach, is, you know, hard work is the company of success. Okay, there's no one without the other. If you cannot put in hard work, don't expect success. Plain and simple. And that's how I work each and every day. I'm going to outwork whoever it is. Plain and simple. That's all I know. I love it. I love to put in the work. I love to grind. And, you know, and one thing I do not like doing is losing. That's why I got more wins than losses. That's life to me. The object of life is to win more than you lose. And so, you know, I don't lose very often. I got, you know, in my 8.5, 9 years, I'm sitting there like 60-something wins, 66 wins, 67 wins, 26 losses. Overall, like 71% winning percentage on a career. So my track record proves that, you know, putting in the hard work, you know, success comes with it. Now, I've never had a losing season. You know, I don't know what that feels like. Thank God. And I know it's all God, but, you know, that's what it's all about. It's about putting in the hard work, making sure you provide the resources for your kids to be able to succeed academically and on the field, Coach.
Yeah. What have you had any interviews with Division II HBCUs or Division I or just colleges, period?
Yeah, I've had one interview with Southern University. That was back in 19, right before COVID hit, around the COVID time, right? And it was my first interview. I was coming off, I think, either my 9-1 season or either my undefeated season. I can't really. It was one or the other. But that was the only the interview I've had since then. You know, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, Coach. You know, as he stated before, you know, I went through some stuff in my life personally that I don't think God was ready for me to up and move. You know, my baby boy was diagnosed with cancer at 9 months, around the same time I got interviewed for the Southern job. So you got to realize I took the same weekend I found out that Southern interviewed me was the same weekend I found out that my son had a Williams tumor that occupied 80% of his kidney, and we had to get it removed, and because it was cancerous and it spread through his body. So I, you know, and this just me just getting. I took the Southern interview, you know. At the time, I was hot, hoping that I can get a fair shake and an opportunity for it, and you know, trying to provide a different means of income to help with my child, you know, dealing with his situation. You know, that's how I'm thinking about it at the time. You know, I figured, you know, hey, more money, I can help with my child. So I took on an opportunity to come to go down to Baton Rouge, did the interview. I did fairly well. But it didn't pan out. And there was a reason why God didn't give me that, and I understand why. It's because I needed to be here at that point in time, and to help, him through his process. It's a different ball game when your baby's coming home from chemo treatments, and you tell the difference in him because his temperament changes, and he's angry, and I'm one of those fathers. I'm there. It's important to me. So when he was hurting, I was hurt. They were always on the field with me. Right. They're around it. So and I went through a lot, Coach. To be totally honest with you, and so when you see my career, when the wind started declining, it was because I was dealing with life.
Right.
And it was different things pulling at me that was way more important than the X and O at the time. It was about, life. I'm dealing with my child who's possibly, could have cancer, which runs through my family line real well. It bit real bad, and so it was a shock, a scare factor, but we left it in God's hand, man. And like I said, right now, he's been in remission for like 4 years. He's 5 years old right now. I got this information when he was 9 months. We immediately had the surgery a weekend, maybe like not even a weekend, maybe like it was like the next day. I'm sorry. I found out on the Friday. He had the surgery on the Saturday, on the same day I was doing the interview. So yeah, and it's been now 5 years. He made his 5th birthday in October, and he's doing well. So yeah, Coach. So I didn't think it was my time for me to move around when my child was dealing with it. I didn't understand it not then, but I understand it now, and I appreciate it because it gave me an opportunity to continue to get better as a head coach and continue to mold myself. And
well, Coach, that's why you here, as you say. That's why you here on this show, because I look, we gonna talk some more, but I a vision came up, and I've been good now, Coach. I've been good, Campbell. I've been on point, ain't I?
Listen, it's so exciting when you see the next generation. And you see this young brother on his screen, and you hear his testimony. And Coach, let me tell you something. We have a lot of people that watch. Man, what's going to be shocking? You're going to have people all on your social media like, "Hey, Coach, I got a son of mine that want to come play for you."
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Well, send them on. If they're serious about investing into themselves, man, send them to me. Like I don't turn down no kid that's trying to do something for themselves, man. Like I said, I love developing. That's the profession I chose. And that's what I love to do.
Well, we at the top of the hour, so I might as well go and start. All right, Coach. We all been hearing about these moves out there, and I've been fighting tooth and nail with my boy Campbell, and I got that guy down to your left of your damn this screen here, and how you feel about the hires, Coach? And definitely this ain't about who was hired. How you feel about the process? Let me say that. That's what I would say, the process. Put you on the spot, Coach.
I guess I can say, me personally, I feel when the right one comes, Coach, God gonna lay it out for you. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel, and I feel like regardless of what happened throughout the hires, everyone seeks to, to coach on the next level. And regardless of whatever happened with the Division I AA hires, you still got to continue to strive, to knock down walls, Coach. And I don't want to come off sounding disgruntled. Do I feel like I'm just as qualified as anybody who grabbed the job? Absolutely. I want you to put their win-to-loss ratio up against mine. Plain and simple. And I feel like I can coach on any platform. Don't matter where it is or where it's at. You give me what they got, Watch me win. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
You can give me less than what they got. Watch me win. But
speaking of that,
excellent.
Coach,
Coach. Excellent.
You bring up something that I think sometimes coaches it's a great quality to be able to do more with less, Coach. But I think ultimately, as a professional, to continue to do more with less, you're penalized.
Correct.
For that.
Correct.
Meaning that this is what I mean by that, Coach. If you in a situation where you do more with less and you're successful, right? Guess what happens, Coach? They expect you to keep doing more with less.
Hey, look, you preach to the choir. You don't think listen, I know that. If I told you what I was dealing with and you look at my win-loss ratio, you're gonna be like, man, come on, Coach, how you do it?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a God honest truth. Even when I went down to Southern and played against them, Southern, I think Odom's either played for the SWAC championship that year or something, but with my 14 to 15 scholarship, I gave him everything he was looking for.
Preach, Coach, preach.
I'm just being honest, and that's how I ended up getting the interview for the job. See, people look at where I'm at in the NAIA and they think that in the HBCU world, it's just he's coaching against these PWIs. See, in reality, that's the most disciplined ball you're gonna see, believe it or not. So you got to know how to coach. You got to know X's and O's, and that's not saying that the coaches that look like me can't coach. That means I got to come double prepared each and every day. It's just like interviewing for a job, and in the PWI.
And Coach, you beat
you, right?
You've beat them. That's how you played most of the year, right?
Yeah. That's all I had.
Scotty
so my HBCUs, the guys I get to go against is like Texas College, Arkansas Baptist is some school like that. Everything else is private schools that have great investment into their programs. They're sitting on the max program, on the max amount of scholarships, when I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing for me to take a program that has less and make it look like something. I've done it.
Coach, it's funny that I hear, being a HBCU, a guy that covers the HBCUs, we hear these stories. And as a guy that didn't have a lot of exposure to it before Dion became part of it, right? I see great men doing great things. And for whatever reason, the stories get more and more and more amazing as I delve deeper into it. The coaches like yourself that are under-resourced or whatever your challenges are there at Langston, you persevere and you're successful. And you have those same schools on every level, Coach. Coach, what I only can imagine what you could do if the playing field was level. But Coach, at some point, should the administrations
win the Celebration Bowl? Since you asked, I win the Celebration Bowl.
Wow. One of the things that Coach, you talk about it, and I feel it in you. What are some of the things that you, as a head coach at your level, really had to kind of do outside of just your head coaching duties, without some physical or some where you had just example for me, and of course this is about you, we had to actually build lockers with our hands. What are some and lay carpets? What are some of the things?
Coach, I paint. I weed eat it. But Coach, I'm not gonna put that on social media to talk about, Coach. It's not about that, because I love where I am. I love my HBCUs, and it's not about showing weaknesses. It's about picking up. It's about digging in and helping.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It ain't about complaining about what you don't have. It's about also trying to help too now.
Right. Well, I love anything, Campbell.
Yeah, I want to, Coach, one of the things, because this is, again, your first time was, why don't you tell people, because this is your introduction to a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people why don't you tell people your coaching philosophy? Are you more focused? Are you an offensive guy? Are you a defensive guy? What's your specialty? Why don't you tell us a couple of guys that you're proud of that are playing for you right now? Kind of give us an overview of your team and yourself.
I would say my coaching philosophy when it comes to X's and O's, I'm well-rounded on both spectrums of the ball, to be totally honest with you. I started off my career on the offense side of the ball, and I learned defense. I am the defensive play caller, but I also had to help influence offensively this year. I don't know if you guys were aware, I did end up, may rest in peace. I lost my offensive coordinator 2 weeks before the season started, Coach Darryl Mason. And so, I had to kind of like chip into my offensive head this year to try to help things get to going offensively with the team. So I'm well-rounded on both sides of the ball, to be totally honest with you.
We off?
No, we not off. Coach,
You froze?
Up.
Coach Mel froze or got.
Oh, they didn't pay the bill over there.
No. I'm sure they paid the bill. I know he plugged in his charger. It looked like maybe he didn't get it all the way plugged in, but you can text him and let him know we still here and he can come back whenever he power up. I wanted to highlight some of these comments that were made and
yeah.
So let me go to that.
Well, let me say something, Rocky, while you're doing that. I thought it was interesting, and I talked about it, me and John Branch, shout out to Bethune-Cookman and Branch. We talked about watching North Dakota State and Montana State and the level of discipline. We did not see the personal fouls and things like that. I like the fact that Coach understands how important that is to win a championship. I like the fact because I think just some of the penalties that some of our schools just, again, not aggressive penalties, just things that where you need to use your head, the level of discipline. It's just been disappointing over the last couple of years. And I like the fact that Coach said, hey, that's one of my focus, that I coach against these programs that are going to be very disciplined. They're not going to make a lot of mistakes. I've got to make sure my program is just as disciplined. Coach, I was kind of giving you a shout out about something that you said when I was looking at the FCS championship, and I noticed how little mistakes that those schools made. And I like the fact that you highlighted that when you're going up against those schools, that that can determine a win or a loss when you're playing against them.
Absolutely. When you got to realize when you're a prestigious HBCU in the PWI league, you got to play a totally different type of football. When I look across the field, I don't see guys that look like me and my team. And rarely referees. So it is a totally different type of game that you have to play. The mental game has to be sharp and you have to be on point, and that's what we have to build in these young men. That's reality, and that's in life. To be totally honest with you, we gotta help start develop, help develop their mental. That mental health. It's an elephant in the room in every program, and it takes special individuals to have the patience to help build young men's mental state.
Coach Morgan, as Mr. Campbell's giving you a shout out for you recognizing discipline as a very important part of the game. Coach Cole has talked to me extensively about how discipline is a cornerstone to a successful program. But yet, in a lot of HBCU games, we see them, I'll just use the word, they play loose. I'll just say that. They don't play buttoned up, right?
That's why I can take my 14 scholarships and go compete against 53, 54, 60. That's why. Because of lack of discipline.
So I'll ask you the same thing I asked Coach Cole, and I won't tell Coach Cole the answer Coach Cole gave me. But why are those teams so loose at the highest level of HBCU football?
Starts at the top. Is he the coach or allowed? Is that right, Coach Cole?
Man, that's right, Coach. That's right. That's right. That's the answer. You stole one from a playbook.
Hey, just like I stole your shoe, Coach.
Oh, you ought to tell him about that. Tell him about that. Yeah.
Coach had a pair of, hey, listen, Coach had a pair of sharpest shoes. And this is when I was a young grad assistant. I had the opportunity to coach against him. And I seen Coach Cole, man. He was the sharpest thing I ever seen. I said, man, Coach is sharp. And I saw his shoes that he had on. I had to go and imitate him. I had to go get me a pair of them Tiger Woods, Coach.
Oh, that was crazy when you told me that. We had some saddle bucks, Coach, some golf saddle bucks with some Steve Harvey fall off your hip pant. And I have my sweater, my cutoff sweater, Coach. Yeah. So
now, Coach, before you got cut off, you were telling us a little bit about your flight. You said that you were able to coach on both sides of the ball. Why don't you tell us some of your players that really performed for you this year and who you're excited about going into next year?
Okay. First and foremost, I was very proud of what my quarterback done, Torrance Bardell. I'm just going offensively right now. This is a young man who bounced around the SWAC a little bit, started off at Jackson State, went to Arkansas Pine Bluff. They tried to transition him into a safety, and I took him. We got him here. We developed him. He threw for over 2,000 yards, close to 3,000 yards this year. Got very close to being the single season yard, breaking the single season record for most yards. So, the development that, that we see that we've been putting into him, we're seeing it, So I'm very proud of his gains compared to his first year that he was up under our tutelage. And next, I would say my receiving core, Kevin Allen, man, he had a stellar year. He ended up breaking our single receiving record for yards in a year. He touched right at 1,000 this year with multiple catches, plenty touchdowns. Defensively, Damon Lowry, one of my defensive linemen, I think he wrapped up close to about 60 solos, plenty of tackles for losses. And then, of course, my stellar cornerback, last but not least, Travis Martin, man. I think y'all going to be seeing something special out of him. The special thing about Travis is, I recruited Travis. He was playing for Keenan Lewis down at Landry Walker down in New Orleans, Coach. And Keenan Lewis, Keenan used to play with the Saints. It was him and Jacoby Jones. Keenan had him playing defensive end. And his sophomore year, I started recruiting him, and I told him, I said, listen, we're going to transition to cornerback. I said, I promise you, if you trust me, you're going to have every scout you think about going to come see you. Coach, the kid trust that vision. And he had Florida State coming on him late and all of that. He decided to come to little Langston right here in Oklahoma. And right now, he's had multiple of those scouts that we talked about come through here to come watch him. He's already clocked his 4.4. He's done all. He's tested out all. He tested out his on his junior pro day. So we got something special that's coming out of the HBCU world once he gets his opportunity, And he's a well-developed kid. He's a humble kid. He's going to be one that we're going to all be proud of. He's going to go out there and he's going to do the right thing, And I think that no matter what HBCU it comes from, it represents us all.
Is he coming out early?
Huh?
He's coming out early.
No, this is his senior year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll be in the Legacy Bowl he's in the Legacy Bowl this year. He got invited to it. He's got invited to a couple of other bowls as well. So just be on the lookout for him. His name is Travis Martin. And I mean, one of the most humblest kids, man, that you would ever meet. And it's been nothing but a joy to coach each and every one of those kids, to be totally honest with you, Coach. I had a great group of kids, man. I put it to you like this here. My team cumulative GPA was over 3.0.
I got you.
Now you heard me. Listen, I ain't say a position group now. I didn't say the running back. I didn't say the receiver, because I said the cumulative. Now, you know, when you look on your, what you call that, transcript, Coach, what that cumulative is, Coach, that's everywhere you done went, right?
Yeah,
so that's everything.
You got some 4.0.
Hey, Coach, how many kickers and long snappers you carrying on your roster then?
Hey, Coach, I ain't got nothing. Listen, Coach, I got two kickers, 2 long snappers. So that's what it's about, though, Coach. This is what it's about. That's why I love what I do. Because, like I said, I get to teach them to use the game, and I let the game use them. And they see it now.
Coach,
now, Coach okay,
go ahead.
Sorry, Coach, go. I wanted to listen because, listen, man, again, I played at Goretti Park, New Orleans East, North baseball. I can hear that accent. How do you use being from New Orleans in that area, and you get those guys to come up there to Langston? You know, what do you tell them? You say, hey, man, listen, I'm from home. I got some gumbo up here. When you come up here, I know how it is. You're going to be able to enjoy yourself. What is your pitch to get those guys to come from New Orleans to come up there and play for you?
I mean, to be totally honest with you, man, me just being me. No false faces. I think that's what it's all about. It's not about selling something that you're not. You know, because eventually you're going to have to show your real face. So it's about me just presenting me, people knowing me and how I am, you know, where I'm from. I mean, Mickey name big on the West Bank, my name big on the East Bank. I put it to you like that.
Yeah. So we need to get you. We need to get you up on another level, Coach.
Hey, Coach, your homeboy may need some help. We thought he had one this year. Honestly, we thought he had one after watching him defeat Jackson State in September. But after then, Coach, it was all downhill for those Tigers for some reason. And we wish him well. We've had Mickey on the show, big fan of his. And,
absolutely, man. I learned a lot from Uncle Mick, man. Like I call him Uncle Mick. I've learned a whole lot from him, and he's one of the guys that like I said, he helped me a whole lot. You know, I was with Mick. Like I said, when he was here, when he first got here, he was the offensive line coach, and I was a grad assistant. And then from there, he transitioned to head coach. You know, so I spent a lot of time with Mick. I know him very, very well. He was also my assistant with my softball job. So when I was the head softball coach, Mickey Joseph was my assistant.
Okay.
So you know, that's like family to me. You know, and I wish him the best. And I know he's a great leader. You know, and he's one of those type of individuals that he'll give you the shirt off his back.
My name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.